Hey boys and girls and prog rock freaks around the world, it's time for another installment of the Prog Year in Review. Yeah, you thought I was done with this series, but it's back. I know none of you guys are really loving this, but I don't care. It gives me a great excuse to talk about a bunch of albums that I love, and we are looking at 2017 today, a year that will probably be remembered in the minds of most prog fans as the year, yes, finally cracked the glass ceiling and got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But to me, it's going to be remembered for the year that brought you the best album of the 21st century. Yeah, my number one album is that good, so stick around. The rankings start right now at number 25. I'm going with Elder. This is the first album I'd ever heard by them. I was intrigued by the album cover. It's called Reflections on a Floating World. These guys are kind of space rock. They're kind of stoner rock. They're kind of awesome. At number 24, I'm going with Styx. The Mission. This was the first record with Will Evankovich in the band, writing and producing. It tells the story of a manned mission to Mars, and yeah, it's really, really good. Number 23, Canada's Monarch Trail with Sand. Their first album was Sky. They put out an album last year, Wither Down, which made my list. Really, really good stuff. I really enjoy Ken Bard and Monarch Trail. At number 22, I'm going with Drifting Sun and Twilight. This is Pat Sanders' group. Drifting Sun put a couple records out in the 90s. He kind of shelved it, quit the music business, and then he brought Drifting Sun back. This is the third album back from hiatus, and it's a really, really good one. At number 21, I am going with Lunatic Soul. Yeah, this was the first album I heard from Lunatic Soul. This is Mario Dudas from Riverside's side project. And if I'm being really honest, I'm actually kind of preferring these Lunatic Soul albums over the Riverside albums. And Fractured is just a great, great album. At number 20, the great Steve Hackett makes an appearance with The Night Siren. This is one of his better solo albums. They're all really, really good. He's so consistent. It's a real hard discography to crack into, especially his modern releases. But this would be a really great, great entry point for people. At number 19. Let's do another Steven. Let's do Steven Wilson, To the Bone. This one took a lot of heat from people for being a little more commercial, a little more pop-oriented, but when you're hiring Andy Partridge from XTC to help you write songs, you're clearly on the right side of the pop tracks here. Absolutely. At number 18, Pain of Salvation. Daniel Gildenlow and company. This was his sickly album. He had a flesh-eating bacteria that almost killed him, so he's lying in a hospital bed when he's writing these songs. Really, really great. At number 17, Capricorn's Constant, their first album. Fate outsmarts desire. I really, really like this band. I was listening to them the other day. They got a brand new album out. My wife's like, is this Big Big Train? Yeah, that's a great reference point for the band. But if you only want to listen to one track to get an idea what Capricorn's Constant's all about, the song Bluebird about breaking the land speed record is just incredible. I really like it a lot. At number 16, we're going to go with a band that put one album out in the 70s and disappeared off the face of the earth. We're talking about the Italian band Maxophone and their second album, La Fabbrica della Nuvole. This will probably be their last album, as the great keyboard player Sergio Latuada passed away shortly after the release of this album. It's almost as good as that classic 70s album. It's terrific. Number 15, talking about an artist going back to 70s for influence. How about Mike Oldfield and the return to Ommadawn? Yeah, Ommadawn might have been his very best record, and this return to brings back that spirit of the acoustic instruments and the whole spirit, the vibe of Ommadawn. It's done really, really well. I like it a lot. At number 14, I'm going with The Tangent and the slow rust of rotting machinery. This was his Brexit album. Andy Tillison's never afraid to talk about politics in his music, and here he doesn't hold back. He talks about immigration. talks about Brexit. It's just a really, really good record. At number 13, let's go to Spain and Codabel, Cosmology. This is all instrumental. These guys have a very classical basis for their songwriting. There's a lot of flute in there, but it sounds like a more classical version of Genesis, maybe, without the vocals, but it's really interesting. I like these guys a lot. At number 12, we're going to the Baroque Project Detachment. These guys are from Italy. They sing in English, though. This is their best album. If you want to check out Italian prog, but you're a little afraid of the language barrier, Baroque Project would be a really good place for you to investigate a little more. At number 11, Magenta, We Are Legend. This was kind of their foray into electronica. They put the Mellotrons away. They put the Torres bass pedals away for an album, and they were going for a more contemporary sound here. It works. I obviously prefer symphonic Magenta, but that style Magenta works just fine for me too. No complaints at all. We're into the top 10 now, and this is where stuff gets really good. 2017 was a great year. At number 10, Chicago's Cheer Accident, Putting Off Death. This is smack dab in the middle of their best and most productive period. Fear Draws Misfortune, No Ifs, Ands, or Dogs, and then this one, and then Fades, and then Cheer Accident 20. Those 5 albums in a row, just amazing. This is right in the heart and the dead center of that great run, Putting Off Death. If you don't know Cheer Accident, do yourself a favor and check them out. At number 9, let's go with Bubblemaths and Edit Peptide. This is not my normal type of prog that I listen to. These guys ply in a type of prog where it is so musically dense. There's so much information being put in every single second. It's almost too much. It's almost overwhelming to the senses. But after a few listens, these melodies start revealing themselves, and the complexity of this music starts to peel away a little bit, and you start really seeing the genius inside these songs. At number 7, no, we're at number 8. We're going to Mexico and Cast, Power, and Outage. This one didn't even make my list in 2017, but last year's Vigesimus really made me evaluate Cast's entire discography, and this album is just amazing. The first 2 or 3 songs are as good as anything they ever did. Fantastic stuff. Now we're at number 7, and it's Motorpsycho and The Tower. This was the first of 3 albums which comprised a trilogy. It was followed up by The Crucible, and then 2020's The All Is One. All 3 are amazing. The Tower is just fantastic. Motorpsycho is such a cool band. They have such an eclectic list of influences. You never know where you're going in a Motorpsycho song. They're really fun. I love them a lot. At number 6, let's do Comedy of Errors and House of the Mind. These guys are extreme neo-prog, but they don't forget to rock. They don't forget melody. They don't forget songcraft. I love Comedy of Errors, and I'm not a big neo-prog guy, as y'all know, but I will make an exception for Magenta, and I will certainly make an exception for these guys. Fantastic stuff. That's at number 6. Now at number 5. What am I doing at number 5? Let's do Kepa, Children of the Sounds. This is the last album with Morgan Agron in the band playing drums, Per Nielsen on guitar. You've got the boy-girl vocals going on. You've got Hans Luden's great songwriting where he never met a chord change he didn't love. There's more chord changes per second in a Kepa song than anybody else. I really enjoy these guys. This is a fantastic record from them. They've got a new album coming out this month, so I'll be doing an album review of it. It's really good. But at number 5 for 2017, it's Kepa, Children of the Sounds. At number 4, let's go to Norway and my favorite Nordic duo, Jordsjø with Jord. This was their first full length. They had done some cassettes, but this is the first one that actually came out in a different format. I really like these guys a lot. Pastoral, melodic, a lot of flute, a lot of acoustic guitar, a lot of Nordic craziness. These guys are amazing. If you want to feel like you're lost in some deep, dark Scandinavian forest and can't find your way out, Jordsjø is your band. Yeah, at number 3, we're going back to the US of A and Discipline with Captives of the Dark Wine Sea. A lot of people thought this was a slight letdown over the last 2 albums that they had put out. They don't put out a lot of records, so we're talking, 10 years ago, and To Shatter All Accord and Unfold Like Staircase came out. I like this one every bit as much. Yeah, there's a different guitar player on here, but the songwriting is just dynamite. The Body Yearns is one of the best songs of 2017. Life Imitates Art. I really like this album a lot. If you don't know Discipline, you should really check them out for fans of Van de Graaff Generator and that kind of thing, I guess. At number 2, Big Train and Grimspound. Once again, R.I.P. Dave Longdon. This came out after The Great Folklore. To me, it was a slight letdown. I love Folklore, but this album is perhaps a little heavier, a little less dependent on the strings and the brass sections and stuff. These songs kind of hold up on their own as a rock band. Nick DiVirgilio's drumming is just out of control. Dave Gregory's guitar playing is just celestial. You could do a whole lot worse than Grimspound as your number 1 album of any year, but 2017 wasn't like any other year, because in 2017, the greatest album of the 21st century came out. Yeah, we're talking about Wobbler, From Silence to Somewhere. I love this album. I love this band. I love that creepy gatefold. I love the sidelong epic. This album is every bit as good as anything Yes or Genesis or King Crimson or ELP did back in the glory days. I love this album. I love Wobbler. Is it the best album of the 21st century? Well, according to Prog Archives, it is. And many other progressive rock sites will probably say similarly that this is the best album of the modern era. Apologies to Neil Morse and Steven Wilson, who may have something to say about that, but that's my opinion, and this is my channel, and I love Wobbler, From Silence to Somewhere, the number 1 album of 2017. Anyway, I'm having a great morning here. We are at 909 subscribers as I record this. That's outstanding. You guys are doing your job. I'm really happy about that. I promise, at some point I will get that Yes ranking out. I'm not holding out to get monetized. I promise. I'm not playing that game. I'm just a dude trying to do the right thing. And I really felt like 2017 needed some love. Anyway, I am Scott from the Prog Corner, and you freaks are okay in my book. See y'all on the flip-flop.